are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 130 of the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan Larck, at your boy Tank on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. And I'm, of course, here joined today, Mr. Harrison Tarr. Tarr, how you doing, buddy?
130 episodes at the College Loop, man. That's a lot of shows. That's a lot of time we spent together.
We're a month away from a year.
I know, man.
A month and a couple weeks.
That is super, super crazy. Yeah, I'm happy to be here talking ball with you. Did want to address a couple things, housekeeping before we get rolling, and wanted to wish Daniel Locke all the best. He's decided he's going to step away and focus on his studies and his pursuit of his career. We sincerely appreciate Daniel for everything that he's done here at the College Loop. We're going to miss him. I know you guys are going to miss him. And he'll still be around in the Twitter space. I'm sure he'll pop back on a stream here and there, but he's going to go focus on his pursuit of working as an unbiased journalist, which we may lean one way just a little bit. Dylan might bug every now and again, and also focus on his studies as he closes out his junior year, or first semester of his junior year at Auburn University. Wishing him all the best. A big War Eagle to him, and a big thank you for all of his efforts. But I
have never bugged in my entire life.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You only bug on days that end in Y, and that's okay. We love you for it.
Those are very choice days.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Only 7 out of the 7 days of the weekend.
That's right. That's right. You
also new hat alert, by the way.
I peeped. Looks very clean, very crisp, and it looks like you're ready to talk some Auburn ball as we recap everything that went down this past weekend in Auburn athletics. My apologies. Sorry, I was getting a quick phone call from Miss Abigail Lafamina. Tell her on the show will be good. Let's go back and give our grades from the Arkansas. I like this word, shellacking, that you used.
It's a real word.
It is. No, it's a great word. It's one of the best, I think, adjectives in terms of ass whooping that you can come up with. Auburn's absolute beat down of Arkansas, 48-10. And I know that I was unable to make the live stream. Dylan, thank you for holding that one down. Appreciate you big time.
Problem. I appreciate everybody else for coming out. We have 500 views on that right now. So
yes, big
shout out to all of y'all for
big
checking
shout
that
out
out.
to you guys for being absolute dogs and being so supportive and being the best listeners in all of college athletic podcast universe. I know I wasn't here to give my thoughts. I just wanted to give a couple rundowns. Just to be completely transparent, folks, I was only able to watch the third and fourth quarter on TV. I did listen to Andy Burcham for the first and second quarter. And I'll be honest with you guys, if you're not already listening to the Auburn broadcast and just turning down your TV, unless an Auburn game gets called by Kirk, there's no reason to tune in, especially if like RG3 or Aaron Murray's on the broadcast. Just flip it over to the Auburn broadcast and listen to Andy Burcham. Absolutely make you feel better about everything going on. And Andy was fired up, as he should be after Saturday or throughout the game on Saturday. I just want to give a couple of my thoughts super, super quickly, and then we'll go into our grades, Dylan. First and foremost, I mean, this offense has an identity. We saw 4 quarters of it. Hi, hello, been waiting for this for a very long time. Happening at the right time. Peyton Thorne looked comfortable, man. I mean, he looked like a good, competent quarterback. 12 of 20 on his completions. And, Hugh Freeze mentioned a couple weeks ago, there's not exactly a wheelhouse number that they feel like they have to attempt. There's no set number of attempts that they feel like they have to try to execute throughout a game. So 12 of 20 for 163 yards, 3 tutties to an interception, and, of course, the 1 long ball, and only taking 1 sack against this Arkansas defense, which is something that we were very interested to keep an eye out for. And then you flip on the other side of the ball, and, I mean, it feels like every time you turned around, KG Jefferson was on his butt. And that really speaks to a testament of that Roberts defense and actually looking like the unit that we know that they can be and that they have been throughout this year. I was blown away by the quick, fast start. I mean, shout out Keontae Scott for the house call on the punt return, which, by the way, I know I'm gassing up Andy Burcham with good reason. If you've not heard Andy Burcham's call of that, oh my God, it was so fun. I was sitting in traffic in Clemson, South Carolina, and I was fired up at a red light with just no moving cars, and that was an absolute electric factory. This team, I mean, dude, we were talking about, can Auburn get the job done on the ground? And I think there was a net 354 rushing yards. I mean, Jarquez Hunter at 109, Peyton Thorne net of 88, Damari Alston 64, Ryan Matee 42, Robbie Ashford 32, and then Jeremiah Cobb got his touchdown, grabbed 19. I mean, this team looked like a unit, man. This is a group that looked like they were peaking at the right time. Granted, you've got to, and we'll talk about it in a minute, about making sure you build that momentum going into New Mexico State and coming out of New Mexico State. But this is the best. That Auburn team that we saw play on Saturday, I know they played a stinky Arkansas team, and I mean they reeked. They are bad. I saw a kind of all over the Twitterverse, all over the message boards, and a lot of people are kind of at the consensus, and I agree. That Auburn team that showed up on Saturday could play football with just about anybody. And I truly believe that. And they've got to show up and do the same damn thing on Saturday, this Saturday against New Mexico State. And what a lot of people are going to be, if that's the weekend that your wife wants to go do apple picking, it's probably the weekend to do it, right? But still, very important game. Yeah, Dylan's shaking his head no, because fall activities are reserved for football. But that's the game that people are overlooking a little bit. And, it's easy to do so if you're within that Auburn program because you want to consolidate your offensive playbook, yada, yada, yada. I get it. But they need to go in and do the same thing because this team, Dylan, is peaking at the right time. And you had a rough stretch, and then you did exactly what the doctor ordered coming down this easier slate of games, and it imposed your will. I know that I'm rambling, so I'm going to let you go. But I was thoroughly impressed, and that's going to translate in my grades.
Yeah, because I think I talked about it a little bit on the live stream. My only negatives I took from this show, showcase of Auburn football, was the couple of blind throws from Peyton Thorne early on. They were fixed shortly after, but one of them was a pick. The other one got very lucky; it was not picked. And then Camden Brown just looked bad. Especially from a guy that we're very hyped about. He hasn't gotten going all season long. So it really sucks for him in that case. But overall, I just think that if that's the only negative I'm taking from this game,
you can live with it.
I am nitpicking. We have a wide receiver who didn't get a single catch because he had a couple of drops, and we had one bad throw not go our quarterback's way. That's about as negative as I can get about the starters playing in this game when they did. And Auburn just coming out and just shellacking Arkansas. You got to keep it up. You have the momentum going into this week. ESPN FPI ranked this team at 25. A 4-loss team got ranked in the ESPN FPI, which not saying that ESPN FPI is like the perfect like purse, but I think that they're the best system at ranking Auburn after the Arkansas game.
Correct, absolutely, and we've always said that.
Exactly.
We've always said that ESPN FPI is the most accurate statement of where Auburn stacks up nationally, especially after a win at Arkansas and the ranking as of November 13th, and when this is being recorded in the year of our Lord 2023.
And it's worth mentioning Jalen McLeod. This is the healthiest this team has been all season long. Jalen McLeod came out 3 sacks, 4 TFLs. I swear he didn't get a pass deflection. I swear he got a pass deflection.
That stat line is drunk.
Nine tackles.
Unreal. Have a game, dude. Like
have a week. SEC Defensive Player of the Week.
I know. I was just kind of congratulating, but yes, have a week. SEC Defensive Player of the Week. You're absolutely right. What a game from the Auburn defense as a whole, man. They held Arkansas to 255 yards total offense over 4 quarters, and limited. I have to look through the air in a second, but
KJ 116 and 50 on the ground.
Yeah, I've got.
That's where you're going.
I've got 135 through the air for Arkansas and 120 per the box.
I wasn't counting whenever they put their backup quarterback in.
Yeah, well, that still counts. 135 through the air and 120 on the ground. Come on now. This what an effort all around. And I'll tell you what, the doctor ordered this. The doctor also ordered you go in, you thump New Mexico State on Saturday, and we'll talk about that here in a second.
I will say,
keep it rolling.
I don't want to hear anybody saying. I know you said it. I don't want anybody calling this Arkansas team bad team. We went into this week saying this team is better than the record says.
Yes. And then
Auburn went in. Yeah, and Auburn went in and just absolutely demolished them. I just want to put that out there before we started saying stuff like that. Like that's not demote the win. Quite.
No, I'm not taking anything away from the win. If you beat a team in the SEC for at this level of 48-10, and you put an ass whooping on them like that in the SEC on the road, that is not easy ever. It is, and Hugh Freeze mentioned it in his press conference today, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But it is hard to go on the road and thump teams. It is hard to thump teams in this league, regardless. And you went on the road and you dropped 48 on this Arkansas team, and capitalized on pretty much every opportunity you were given. Yeah, there's not a lot of complaints on my end, and let's see if that translates over into our grades as we give out our final concluding remarks about the Auburn victory, 48-10 over Arkansas on the road. Second of 4 straight 3 p.m. games, or third of 4 straight 3 p.m. games.
No,
Excuse me.
this is just New Mexico State is the third in a row.
So second of 3 straight 3
Yep.
p.m. game. 3 p.m. games.
And we are currently planning a lightning strike to hit to actually push the Iron Bowl back 30
Back
minutes.
to the 3 o'clock. Yes, everyone knows that Auburn in the last 2 weeks has been the greatest 3 o'clock team to ever be watched wearing orange and blue on SEC Network. That's just a fact.
And CBS.
And CBS, for that matter.
More to that in a second.
Yeah, more on that later. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the live update at 6.
Stay in the loop.
Stay in the loop. Dylan, I'll let you start with your grades, and then I'll give mine, and we're going to roll into talking a little bit about the Hugh Freeze presser before we talk about New Mexico State and beyond.
Yeah, these are probably the highest grades you're ever going to get out of me talking about this Auburn football team, especially from what we've seen.
Sure.
Offense, I gave them an A. I was pondering an A+. A couple of things I would like to see more: less turnovers. Just both of them. Robbie Ashford's pick got away from him. He just kind of threw behind his receiver. Peyton Thorne threw blind. Stuff he's got to clean up. And it's still an A. So take the A while you can get it. Defense, I mean,
Yeah.
A+. There's this defense did no wrong. I mean, you kind of gave up a garbage time touchdown. I'm not going to dock points for garbage time points.
No.
You still beat them by 38. Jalen McLeod, SC Defensive Player of the Week. I mean, Kansas got one Player of the Week as well for special teams, but he still deserves it. Marcus Harris, Caleb Wooden getting fumble recoveries. If Caleb Wooden was just a little bit faster, would have been a scoop and score. But he can't complain that much. Eugene Asante playing lights out. Marcus Harris playing lights out. Keldrick Falk had a nice little first drive of the game where his name was called, I believe, 2 times in a row. And I can't forget. It's his only stat of the day. But K.N. Lee's PBU.
Yes.
Which they almost called PI. And look back, and it was just perfect.
Yes.
Could not describe it. That is textbook pass deflection right there from K.N. Lee. And why he is only going to be playing 2 more seasons here at Auburn. Right? Sadly, unless we can find a way to keep him here for a senior year. But yeah, defense A+, and that kind of just rounds out to an A.
You know, I'm with you. I'm going to go A and A on offense. I mean, come on, man. 517 yards. I'm only docking you because of the turnovers. I'm legitimately only docking you because of the turnovers. 517 yards total offense. And I know we're going to talk about Jarquez here in a minute, but damn, he's special again. I know we knew he had the talent in him. We just didn't know when it was going to surface this year. It's here. That defense, I'm going A+, man. I mean, you put KJ Jefferson on his butt. You held this team to 10 points. First time since 2019, Auburn's held an SEC opponent under 15 on the road, by the way.
I think it was first time since 2020 Auburn scored this amount of points against SEC opponent, and first time since 2017 they beat a team on the road like this.
Yes. This is just bonkers. These numbers are ridiculous and coming at a great time of the year, especially for confidence building. Defense is an A+, and I know that should round out to an A, but I'm going to say an overall performance of A+, and it's because primarily, Dylan, this is what the doctor ordered, man. You needed that SEC thumping to end the slate before you roll into this New Mexico State non-con, before you roll into the Iron Bowl. You had to keep the ball rolling. You had to go out and play 4 quarters of offense consistently. Play a complete game of football. Folks, this is the most complete game we have seen from the Auburn Tigers in 2023, and damn it is coming at the right time. And I'm not just sitting here booging. I'm telling you, this truthfully was, regardless of what you want to talk about Arkansas, what they are or are not, this was a damn near perfect game for Auburn.
I would go further. I think it's the most complete we've seen this Auburn team play since probably
Gus Malzahn.
Good Lord, 2019.
Yes.
I'm trying to even think of a game in 2019 we played both sides of the ball. It's the Iron Bowl.
Well, let's not forget the Arkansas game in 2019 as well. That was a pretty complete game.
I probably say the Iron Bowl 2019.
Yeah, right. I'm sure you feel that way. But this is just a complete effort, all sides of the ball. I'm giving it an A+ just because of kind of situational and actual establishment of identity and development. So many good things came out of this game, guys. And those things can easily all go away if you get your butts handed to you in 2 weeks. I get that. But there are a lot of good things to build on, a lot of good film that coaches can go into the film room and say, hey, look, you're capable of doing this, so no more excuses. And there's some value in that, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of value in that and saying, hey, we've been working on this all year. We've been watching film all year on things that you can do better here, and here, and you did it this game. Now, I don't ever want to have to remind you to do it. because you know it's your job. And I think these guys are answering the call beautifully. So I'm going to round it all out. A on offense, A+ on defense, and A+ overall, just because of the nature of the emphatic victory. A lot of good things coming out of Auburn, Arkansas. As we wrap that one up, let's talk a little bit, Dylan, about what Hugh Freeze had to say this week in his weekly press conference ahead of New Mexico State. I'm going to go ahead and let you, if you want to go ahead and open this one first with things that stuck out to you. If not, I can go ahead and lead.
You can go ahead. I'm looking up some stats for our way too early stuff real quick.
Yes, no, absolutely. I'll go and start with his comments on the improvement of the offense. Talking about it's really good to see our kids play with confidence. I don't think you can be very good at anything unless you have some confidence with what you're doing. They seem to be a confident group right now. That is exciting about another opportunity. Excited about another opportunity. Forgive me. I don't mean for this to sound any way, but we could have put up a lot of numbers at Arkansas. They were good, but we really started milking the clock about halfway through the third quarter and did not throw it. And then he mentioned that he wishes he could have gotten Holden Garner in, but he wanted to handle things the right way and not run up the score any more than you already had. I think that that game was managed pretty perfectly. Of course, it's easy to do that when your guys take care of business and execute. That was kind of my big takeaway. That and his comment about Peyton Thorne. If you want to talk about that one, Dylan, don't let me yoink that one from you. But I thought that was a really, really good takeaway and analysis about Peyton Thorne's mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it just serves just perfect timing for the guy who is the president of the Robbie Ashford fan club to talk about how great Peyton Thorne has been over the past few weeks. Just been an absolute lights out quarterback, the guy that we've been wanting to see for so long. But Peyton Thorne came out and he freeze brought the fact that quarterbacks, they better have that. He does have it and he's able to handle me. He lets me rant a little bit, and without it destroying him, I have to be careful with that. With some probably. But he all the good. This is not translated.
He said, but no, this is not translated. This is exactly transcribed. But all the good ones that he's had, talking about all the quarterbacks that Hugh Freeze has had, he's told them this is what's going to happen, and that Peyton Thorne's mature enough to handle it and move on. I thought this spoke tremendously about. I mean, Freeze has doubled down and nutted up about this being his guy.
I mean, I guess that's why that upsets me sometimes. But man, he is a no excuse guy, and I'll play the next play guy, and it shows. I mean, you see that in his play, especially whenever he talks about him going to the sideline after an interception. He's like, "Coach, I just didn't see him." He's not saying, "Oh, well, the guy ran his route wrong. Oh, this guy didn't do this right." No, I made a boneheaded mistake, and I threw a ball I shouldn't have thrown because I didn't see the guy. That's what you want to see from your quarterback, and that's why I've been so. What's the word I'm looking for? Not surprised. I've been so ecstatic to see this level of improvement from Peyton Thorne throughout the. I don't believe by no means that Peyton Thorne's going to be a starting quarterback going into next season, but I definitely think that he has done enough this year to warrant a potential.
I think he can play his way into that role.
Yeah, exactly.
If he wins the ball game in 2 weeks, he will.
That's why I think. I mean, looking at it like that, I mean, it could be like a Jackson Dart situation. I mean, you bring in a guy to compete with them, and Peyton Thorne just shows, hey, my team. And Peyton Thorne just outperforms the transfer portal quarterback and then gives Walker White time to progress along. And then Peyton Thorne is a back-to-back leader on this team. You don't know what this Auburn team can probably do next year, especially with some of these freshmen coming in. Ooh.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I know I've been one of the biggest Peyton Thorne haters all season long, but I think if anyone's been watching the show the last few weeks, no one has been this proud of Peyton Thorne's success more than I have. Because as much as I love Robbie Ashford, believe me, I still love him. I love Robbie Ashford. I wish him the best of luck wherever his career takes him next. I don't think him or Holden Garner remain on the team after this year because I think Peyton Thorne has done that good of a job over these past few weeks. I know Hugh Freeze agrees. And I think Peyton Thorne's going to be the perfect quarterback to guide Walker White into being the QB1 in his redshirt freshman year.
Now, I will tell you this. I will say this. If Peyton Thorne closes out this year, win or lose in the Iron Bowl, and whatever the bowl game looks like, playing at the level he has played, especially if you play that Iron Bowl close, whichever way it goes. If you blow out the Iron Bowl and you win it, then it's probably a completely different story here. But a lot of people, myself included, need to take a step back and say, hey, look, Hugh Freeze knew all along. or his plan worked. I don't know about knew all along, but his plan worked, and his truth and faithfulness in one guy paid off. And at the beginning of the season, all we said was, don't go on the 2 quarterback system. And Hugh Freeze tried that. That did happen. And there was some experimental aspects to that, but also when he went with one guy and he bought stock into Peyton Thorne, you saw improvement throughout the year. And this guy, I mean, we were concerned about this guy being a 2,000-yard passer at one point. I mean, which, like, let's not get ahead of ourselves, not put the cart before the horse about his passing accolades for this year. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm getting at. That we were skeptic and critical, very critical about the decision to stick with Peyton Thorne. And to this point, coming down the stretch after your absolute gauntlet that you were dealt at the beginning of the SEC schedule, I think it's paid off long run. And there's going to be a guy that you're going to play on Saturday on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the field, that's going to play quarterback that we'll talk about here in a second. That's something to circle as we preview the New Mexico State preview. But before we get into that, Dylan, I want to remind everybody, there's a couple ways you can support the show. First and foremost, like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you're listening right here on YouTube. Drop your comments. We're ready for your New Mexico State score predictions. Closest to the pin challenge. Closest to the correct score prediction will go up on the live stream on Sunday night, right?
It'll go up on the Tuesday show. As I'm saying that, I'm going to go find the winner of the thing. Someone like someone commented after the game the score.
That's awesome.
And I was like, yes, I'm gonna pick this guy.
Yeah, you should.
Because why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. So as Dylan's searching for that, make sure you guys drop a like, a subscribe, ring the bell so you can stay up to date on all the latest content coming out right here on the College Loop podcast. Got a ton of stuff coming your way. Super, super excited to bring it to you guys. Drop your comments and give your feedback, your questions, your strongly held beliefs, your demands in the comments. If you're not listening on YouTube, just know we love you just as much. We appreciate your listenership. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever the highest rating you can give us on your streaming platform of choice. Share it with a friend so they can join in the loop. We love new loopers here, and we would love to get to 700 subs on YouTube and beyond. You guys are the reason we're able to do this, and we certainly appreciate you. Dylan, do you have the score?
I'm still, if you want to shout out the shirt.
That's what I was going to roll into if you were not ready, my friend. If you guys also want to support the show, there's another way you can do so. That is going and purchasing the Feeling Loopy College Loop War Rapport Pro co-branded, I'm throwing it up on the screen for us, Dylan, co-branded t-shirt, the most comfortable shirt you'll ever own. You can go to www.thewarreport.com, pick up your very own for $25, just $25 for the most comfortable shirt, best looking shirt. You're going to look great in it you will ever own. And if you don't feel like typing that in the search bar, neither do we. We have it in the description to all of our shows. So just go click the link, pick up your very own College Loop War Rapport Pro co-branded Feelin' Loopy t-shirt. Those are the 2 ways you guys can support the show, and we certainly appreciate your continued outpouring of support and your kind and encouraging words. Also, just a quick reminder while Dylan's pulling up the score, I'm not rambling too much, but I do want to remind everybody, thank you guys for following along on all of our social medias, but specifically on the Facebook, let's keep our banter about football and not make personal attacks. I saw some kind of disappointing shots people took at each other on a Facebook post we had the other day. And I was kind of disappointed because I know you guys are better than that. And I don't think it was people that listen to the show because that's really not how it seemed. I think it was just people that want to popping up on their algorithm, which is great. We're glad they're there, but let's make sure we're respectful to one another. And if you're disagreeing with somebody about football, just do what Dylan and I do and just say, I respectfully disagree, or, disrespectfully disagree. That's fine. But don't come after anybody personally. We appreciate you guys adhering to those guidelines. We certainly want to uplift positivity here and make sure we love on one another. That was really important, Dylan. That one really kind of pissed me off when I saw the other day because loopers are better than that.
Yeah. After some deep thought, I'm trying, because I think this is probably the closest one, but there's also some other ones that kind of get the spread a little right. So I might actually shout out 2.
Okay.
Just because I think that they're both in the realm of being kind of right.
Okay.
But also no one was even remotely close to this one.
That would have been a tough one to pick.
Well, I think everyone kind of heard how everybody was talking about it, and it was, oh, well, this is going to be a close game down to the wire. And I mean, that's what everyone picked. That's what we picked. I can guarantee you that. But so the 2 people I have are Chris Causey, predicting Auburn to win 30-17, 13-point win, one of the few double-digit wins that got picked. Shout out Chris Causey. He's usually one of the ones hanging out in the chat, so shout out to him.
Shout out Chris.
And Steve Kinsall as well, giving us a 28-13 prediction for the Auburn Tigers to win. And there was another person who predicted 41-18 or 41-10. 48-10. There we go. But that was definitely posted after the conclusion of the Auburn-Arkansas game.
I love that, though. I love the energy to be like, you know what? I'm going back and I'm going to go post the right score. And I want you to know I'm genuinely serious when I say I love that, because we're all for a good troll here. We're all good for a good.
Maybe they thought we don't pay attention. Maybe they thought we don't get the inbox.
Yeah, they're just trying to
like,
see.
dang, well, look, this guy got it right on.
Catch us lacking. That's so true. Thank you guys for participating. Make sure you drop your scores in the comments and all your football, basketball, baseball, gymnastics, whatever your takes are, as long as they're respectful to one another, please, in the comments. That would be much appreciated, so we can continue to feed off you guys and make this a running conversation. All right, Dylan, bringing you back in, let's talk a little bit about this New Mexico State team. And I'll lead here. There's one guy that I'm circling. I'll be honest with you, and I think you're probably going to be in a similar boat. Diego Pavia is just a straight-up good football player.
Yes,
he is. He's 157 completions on 263 attempts for north of 2,200 yards this year, 59% completion, 19 tutties to 6 interceptions. The guy can get the job done through the air, but he's also the team's leading rusher with 700 yards. The dude may wind up being a 2,500-yard passer and then 8,000-yard rusher after their bowl game. Like, that is so on the table. And this team has already clinched a spot in the Conference USA Championship, correct?
Yes, they have, because they play Liberty.
Correct. Yes, that'll be a hell of a ball game. By the way, that'll be a fun ball game.
Undefeated Liberty.
Yeah, undefeated Liberty. So, I'm interested to get your thoughts. I'm circling the quarterback play here, Dylan, because this is a guy similar to what we said about KJ Jefferson last week that can get it done through the air and get it done with his legs. It's going to be up to the Auburn front seven to make sure that they can impose their will. Where does Auburn go from there?
I mean, if you can, because Hugh Freeze talked about Pavia a little bit. Talented quarterback, extremely tough and mobile. He's a handful for sure. They're using him in a lot of different ways, a lot of motion shifts, formations. They have a really good plan. He can make a lot of things happen with his feet. And looking at his stats on the year, Diego Pavia has 2,200 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 16 sacks, which is a lot for all you people who like to count sacks over there. But he's also leading Mexico State in rushing with 703 yards and 5 tutties. Definitely a team that Auburn is definitely better than. This team lost to Massachusetts, or UMass for short, 41-30 in week 0.
That was also a hell of a ball game, by the way.
Yes, it was. And Pavia played lights out for that game as well.
Wasn't his fault.
No, not at all. If Auburn wants to show out for another game, it starts with getting pressure on Pavia. And it starts with locking up his legs. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but Auburn secondary has done a very good job this year of forcing turnovers. And if you can get him some happy feet, that's a great way to get some practice for your upcoming opponent, who also has a very mobile quarterback, who also has a dicey offensive line. If you can use this, because I don't want to say use this as a practice game, because that'd be looking down on an opponent like that, and I do not need Auburn to play down to an opponent in that case. But if you can get pressure on a quarterback for another game in a row, force turnovers from a quarterback who doesn't usually make the stupid mistakes, and keep him contained to the pocket, I think that's the recipe for a success against New Mexico State.
Something else that can actually prepare Auburn quite nicely going into the Iron Bowl. Diego Pavia has thrown 19 touchdowns to 9 different receivers. A lot of different pass catchers, a lot of different sets. He's got a clear favorite target in Trent Hudson when they get in the red zone. Hudson only gone for 351 yards on the year comparative to Jonathan Brady, who's got 489, your downfield pass threat. But Hudson's been his red zone guy with 7 tutties. But let's not forget, you've got 4 receivers over 200 yards, receiving yards on the year, which means that they spread the ball evenly. And then if you look at the run game, you've got 2 running backs, each over 500 yards apiece, and Monte Watkins and Star Thomas. I mean, there are plenty of options for Pavia in this offense to spread the ball around. It will not be the walk in the park that UMass was. I know that they lost to UMass, but they will not be the walk in the park that UMass was. This team is tremendously better than they were at the beginning of the year. New Mexico State, Auburn as well, but plenty of opportunities for this Auburn defense. I'm with you to put Pavia on his butt, forcing completions, and also this DB room is going to get some work in, man. You're going to have to go because, one, we assume, and knock on wood, you can't assume anything without making an ass out of you and me, Dylan, but you assume that Auburn's probably going to get New Mexico State in a position where they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. And that's kind of their identity in the first place, right? Is you've got to make sure you sling the rock around the yard. And when they're playing from behind, that means the secondary is going to have that much more work to do. You'll get meaningful reps, stay healthy, Force, I'd say 2 turnovers, whether that be both interceptions, great. If it's an interception and a fumble, fantastic. Focus on forcing 3 and outs and turning them and forcing them into turnovers. That's how you get prepared and use this game as a way to not get hurt, impose your will, keep the momentum, and prepare for Alabama. I think there's a lot of good things that can come out of Saturday, and I don't want people to overlook that because this game is tremendously valuable. It's the difference between going to the Birmingham and like the Music City Bowl should things not work out great in the Iron Bowl, right?
Well, this is, for the offense, to be a great way to keep your third down efficiency in the right path. You positive. Auburn finished positive in third down efficiency for the first time, and I don't know when.
Were you excited until?
Dude, this game, you know how hard it was to do a live stream after a win? Like, I was just like, what am I supposed to gripe on? What am I supposed to hate? What do I...
After a win that was so convincing.
Exactly. Oh, that's what I was going for. Like, Auburn killed them. What am I supposed to say? Auburn had a positive third down efficiency. Auburn held control of the ball for almost 40 minutes.
Auburn
do that. Keep doing that.
Auburn played 4 quarters of offense. Chad, is this real?
I don't know how to talk to you people after Auburn does this. I don't know how to do my job if Auburn's winning like this. And you know what? I would love it if they keep doing that. So do it again. And do that. Convert on third down. Get control of the ball. Force turnovers. And lock down a dual threat quarterback. And guess what? Next week,
it's harder. It's a lot harder.
It's going to be a lot harder to do that. But I'm going to say the same exact thing to do again.
But it doesn't hurt to get those kind of reps.
It is not.
Actually, I argue having Arkansas and KJ Jefferson and then having New Mexico State and Diego Pavia back-to-back weeks leading into the Iron Bowl, that really, as much as you can simulate playing a shittier version of Jalen Milroe, you've done it.
I mean, I think that, and this is not me saying that Auburn has an advantage in that game whatsoever, but Auburn is playing a G5 opponent that benefits their practice towards Alabama, and Bama has to prepare for Auburn with Chattanooga. Because I don't believe Chattanooga plays like Auburn does, but I know daggum well that New Mexico State plays like Alabama does on offense.
A balanced spread of offense attack.
Exactly. That's exactly. So this game actually works out perfectly for Auburn's scheme on how they're going to stop Jalen Milroe in 2 weeks.
Or how they're going to try to at the very bare minimum.
Yeah,
let's transition over from our preview. We're already running a little long on football here, Dylan, but that's a lot of football to talk about. I'm going to hand the keys over to you, and let's talk recruiting with Tank. And start with recruiting targets that have committed and other targets you're hearing about, Dylan. And I'm going to give you the keys, and I'm going to let you run.
Yeah, of course. If you missed out on this weekend, Auburn picked up 2 4-star commits, one for the 2024 class, one for the 2025 class. 2024 edge rusher Jamonto Waller flipped his commitment from the Florida Gators to the Auburn Tigers. 4-star edge rusher, 6'2", 225 from some P word in Mississippi. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to try it. He's a strong, fast defensive end / edge rusher who I need to watch more film on him to kind of tell you if I think he's going to start immediately or get like some early playing time, because Auburn does have some dudes coming up. But if he's not going to, I'm not going to say he's going to be the next Kotrick Falk, but he's got the look. He's fast. He's strong. He's got the power that you want from an edge rusher. I'm so excited that Auburn flipped this guy from Florida, and in the same class that they have flipped a linebacker from Georgia and a wide receiver from Alabama. And just saying, a certain A&M coach is out of the picture, and a certain A&M commit said his recruitment is still open. So it's neither here nor there. But Auburn also got
Florida
the
State's
commit.
Still in the mix there, by the way.
Yeah, they are. Auburn also got the commitment of a 2025 4-star tight end and Ryan Gee, a strong. I'm just control C, control V here. Strong, fast tight end. Ben Agamawa has just been absolutely killing it. Auburn now on a streak of just getting these athletic tight ends who can catch the ball very well. Got Martavis Collins coming up next year. He got Rivaldo Fairweather to transfer in here. And, I mean, you're going to get Ryan Gee in 2 years, who's going to be a very, very fun target and a dual tight end for Walker White. So 2 great tight ends. And another guy I've been hearing a lot of things about is Daniel Hill. After the decommitment of Did I even? I don't think it pulled up his 24/7. There we go. After the decommitment of Fat Burnett, which sucked, I will say it sucked,
Yep.
but we're over it because
That's it.
he's gonna have a nice career at Missouri, where I believe that he has been tweeting a lot of Missouri, and I'm not mad about that. I like Missouri. Hot take, but not hot take. I like Missouri. Daniel Hill has been a guy I've been hearing a lot about. He's an athlete, plays running back. He's currently crystal ball to Alabama, but I've been hearing a lot of traction between him and Auburn. 2024 4-star running back. Announced his commitment date. He will be committing on January 6th on NBC, and I believe is that the All-American Bowl?
Yes.
I do believe so, yeah. Okay. I remember because last year I was like foaming at the mouth watching the last one whenever like Colton Hood, I believe, committed to Auburn on that same day. But yeah, guy who's another fast running back. He's done punt returns at Meridian High School. I mean, he's an athlete ever since the word. Number 7 athlete in the class. It'd be awesome if Auburn could pick him up, get another running back out of this class. A guy who isn't as good as Fat Burnett is, but you kind of don't need one if you're not going to play him.
And who's to say you can't develop them?
Exactly, especially with a guy as fast as Daniel Hill looks. I mean, he's definitely, if he doesn't get on the field for like early as a running back, he'll definitely get on early as like a return man.
Yep.
And I mean, Jarquez Hunter did that.
Yep.
Amari Olsen did that, and now they're the lead backs for this team, and they're in their third and
give
second
them the
year.
caddy and let them cook.
Exactly. If there's anybody in the country that can develop a running back into a star, it's Cadillac Williams.
That's right.
He's the guy right here. You can't see.
And
there you go.
You said it's Daniel Hill, correct? Committing during the All-American Bowl.
Yeah, January 6th.
Good chance that Walker White could get in his ear right there before the commitment and just say, "Hey, man."
Yes, of course. And if you want to early look at Walker White, he will, of course, be in the All-American Bowl as well, which is going to be. It's fun to watch. I will say.
Yeah, it is super fun, and it's cool getting to see the kids make their announcements and their commitments in the middle of that game, because you get to see so many proud families, proud parents and coaches watching kids commit to living out their dreams and getting to play against high level talent and getting to learn from one another and get good coaching. I mean, seeing the next stars of college football kind of appear. That's right.
Because I mean, if you watch it, you're just gonna be, and in a couple of years, whenever if one of them's a bust, you're gonna be like, you were so good in the All-American Bowl,
right? And
if one of them's like amazing, you were so good in the All-American Bowl. So it's always a fun game to watch. But Auburn, surprisingly, not surprisingly, Auburn is bowl eligible.
Auburn is bowl eligible,
and
there have been some fun predictions.
Vacation plans are attempting to be made because I'm trying to figure out where Auburn's going to go. I've been hearing anywhere from Jacksonville to Tampa to Nashville to Charlotte, North Carolina.
I've seen Vegas thrown around a couple of times.
I've seen the glorious city of Birmingham said a few times.
Which that's not happening, but.
Darn. Can a 8-4 Auburn team go to the Birmingham Bowl?
Absolutely not. No. But I did see a really fun one for me and for my family that Auburn could potentially wind up if they were to lose the Iron Bowl. If that were to happen, that they would possibly wind up matched up with Georgia Tech in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Which would be super fun. I believe I read Auburn's not been in the Gator Bowl since 1986 or something absurd, or 96. Like, it's been a long time. So that would be an interesting bid, and it sounds like they'll be competing with Tennessee for whatever bid that they wind up getting, from what I've read, for 24/7 and per CBS, and even on 3 for that matter. It sounds like that those two schools will be kind of gunning against one another, depending on really geographic placement and ticket sales, right? That's really what it boils down to. Bowl games are a business at the end of the day, but that'd be pretty cool. That's kind of my dream bowl game scenario for you there, Dylan. I wish I could commit to go into the bowl game right now, but I am supposed to be on a cruise over New Year's. We'll see.
Play the bowl game on the cruise ship.
Maybe I'll just get them to put it on the big screen above the swimming pool, the Auburn game. On the top. Is it a Carnival cruise? We're going on one of the Jimmy Buffett cruises.
Oh,
on the Margaritaville cruise.
Former Auburn alum.
Right. Nope. Auburn attendee.
Alum.
Auburn attendee.
You didn't hear the air quotes that
he
were
is a
Mississippi
Southern Miss alum, but
I would say I think just because if I can't get Birmingham, I get the next best thing. The Duke's Mayo Bowl would be awesome.
That is the grossest bowl game to watch ever.
No, dude, because guess what? If Auburn were to win the Duke's Mayo Bowl,
You get to drench Hugh Freeze in mayonnaise.
or he gets to eat it,
Ugh.
a gallon.
I like
Hey,
mayonnaise on my sandwich, man, but like there's a line. There's
will you tell
absolutely
me?
a line.
Will you tell me you wouldn't for Auburn to get their 9th win of the season? You wouldn't dump mayo on your body
I would not.
for
Sorry.
9 wins?
No. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Rephrase that. I'm sorry.
If for Auburn to get 9 wins, would you dump mayonnaise on your body?
Yeah, I would. You're right.
There you go. There's the
You're
correct
right.
answer. Turn the ringer off. But
I'm trying. I'm sorry. Abby clearly doesn't know that I'm on a show.
don't worry, I got a FaceTime over here as well. But yeah, Duke's Mayo Bowl is probably where I would. Also, I've always wanted to go to Charlotte, and also would love to go see the Panther Stadium and watch at least the team that I think can win play in that stadium because I can't get that from the Panthers. I also would love the Music City Bowl. I've never gone to Nashville, surprisingly so. I've seen it from afar on the interstate, but I've never been to Nashville, so I would not mind going to the Music City.
Yeah,
To watch the
that's a fun
Tigers.
one. I went when Auburn played Purdue, and that was super fun. And it was a blowout game. Joey Gatewood scored a touchdown that game, by the way. But that was super
No, he
fun.
didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He completed a pass that game.
He ran the ball up to like the 5-yard line, and Gus was like, "Oh, you know what? Take a knee," because that was crazy. But Tarr, with that, Keontae Scott. I blanked for a second. Keontae Scott won SEC Special Teams Player of the Week. Jalen McLeod won SEC Defensive Player of the Week. But that was not the only SEC award an Auburn athlete won from this past week. And that goes to Mr. Aiden Holloway, winning his first of potentially 31 SEC Freshman of the Week awards after his outstanding performances versus Baylor and Southeastern Louisiana, who I so lovingly called Southern Louisiana because I forgot that there's a Eastern in there. But no one corrected me, so I'm not that upset about it.
That's all right.
But yeah, Aiden Holloway winning his first of many.
I mean, it's not hard to see why. I mean, after absolutely balling out against Baylor, he just all he did was turn around and have himself an 11-point appearance with 3 assists and shoot 3 of 8 from the perimeter again on Friday night on a game where you're rotating people out to try to get more people minutes and keep people healthy when you're taking down a team. I mean, obviously only 86-71, but let's not forget this is college basketball. You're gonna have off nights and not dominate people all the time, but and you hang 86 on a team that played toe to toe with you. There's a reason this kid's special. He's gonna be one and done. Enjoy your 1 year that you get him if you're an Auburn fan, because he will not be on the Plains for long, and he's gonna be a ton of fun to watch in the process. I kind of building off of that, Dylan. I kind of want to look holistically at this game over Southeastern Louisiana, and talk a little bit about your boy Jay Will went and got 9. You feel a little better?
Yeah, I liked it. Was a solid performance. He found a stretch. Also became the winningest player in Auburn basketball history.
Right.
So it was a great moral victory for him, especially that he was able to actually get shots up.
Yes.
And I will say, I was not impressed with Trey Donaldson's performance in this game.
I've not really been super impressed by Trey through the first 2, but he's got to get his feet underneath him. I'm not willing to press the panic button yet. I'm super glad that he is where he is in this rotation, and I'm glad Bruce is continuing to give him minutes. It's time to build his confidence up. The guy's a hell of a ball player. It's going to come to him, and I'm not really upset about it or frustrated yet to this point. But Katie Johnson dropped 13. There's your guy. A lot of people banging their heads against the wall against last year. I mean, he looks like he's going to be a consistent guy. If Katie Johnson can average 12 points a game, you ought to be thrilled. That is exactly what you need him to do. Come in and play 12, 13 points, put up 12 to 13, play great defense, hack a couple people, make them remember that you're willing to play physical defense. I don't mind fouls. That really doesn't bother me. Katie actually only wound up grabbing 2, which has got to be like a rare occurrence for Katie Johnson, regardless of his minute.
But if there are 1,000 Katie Johnson fans, I am one of them. If there are 100, I am one of them. If there are 10, I am one of them.
1 of 10.
If there's 1, it is me. If there are none, I am dead.
Yeah, that's right. You're in the grave. That's right. Katie Johnson much improved in terms of confidence and consistency to this point this year. And like we said in the last game, have to see if that'll hold. But if that's the kind of guy you're getting out of KD, man, that's such an asset. It's an absolute asset to this team. Dylan Cardwell, 16 minutes again, 3 for 3 from the field, dropping 6. I mean, he's doing what is asked of him. Jedi Broom, hey, welcome back. 4 fouls still, but you're huge and you play under the rack, so there's not much you can do about that. But 18 points, 11 rebounds, and a couple of assists, causing a couple turnovers. I mean, what can you really do? Yeah, and a pair of blocks. He's back. He's back to doing what he can do. And I think another one of those moments, John, I just kind of need to get his feet on it. Let's not forget, Auburn got punched in the mouth against Baylor, against a very, very good basketball team, game 1. These guys needed one of those get right. Let's play a lot of guys, a lot of minutes, spread the minutes around kind of game against Southeastern Louisiana. And overall, in my opinion, a tremendous success. So looking forward to them taking on Notre Dame.
Back-to-back 80-point games, by the way, for the Auburn Tigers.
Back-to-back 80-point games, taking on a really, really bad Notre Dame team on Thursday.
Yeah, they're bad.
I just don't know any other way to put it. I mean, Marcus Burton and Kerry Booth are kind of carrying the team. You've got Burton averaging 23 a game, Booth averaging 15. And after that, it's a staunch drop-off. Julian Roper's got 10.5, and after that, the next highest average is 5 a game. This group is just not that deep. They're 1-1 with an embarrassing loss under their belt already to Western Carolina, 71-61. They lost that game by double digits. Their only victory coming over Niagara, 70-63. And they're going to play on ESPN2 at 9 p.m. at the Barclays Center in the Roman Legends Classic.
8 Central.
Sorry, 8 Central. I'm in Eastern time here on my recording.
I just gotta let everybody know who lives in the correct time zone. That it said 8.
I would agree. I think Central time is infinitely better than Eastern time. I'm not going to argue that with you. But this is a game or a tournament that Auburn's slated to play in the Roman Legends Classic. Well, for those of you guys who know what Roman is, I won't elaborate, but it would only make sense if the former sex champions won the Roman Legends Classic. Again, a tournament Auburn's undefeated in, for those of you keeping score at home about male enhancement tournaments. Auburn's undefeated in those, so that's super, super cool. Also, I'm not joking, Dylan, when I tell you that this Notre Dame team is not good on either end of the floor. And I just wish I could gas them up. It's going to look good as like a Q2 win. If you can pull this one off, I think it's Tigers by a lot. Now, Auburn could go out and lay an egg and win this game by like 6 points.
Oh, yeah.
And that would feel super on brand. And we'll do a little bit of a preview about that later in the week on the Thursday show, since the game is on Thursday. But that team stinks, and I think Auburn's a hell of a lot better than them. So there should be a positive outlook this week.
X Factor, Aiden Holloway. If your team don't have him, sorry.
Yeah. It's just there's just not much you can really do about it. He's just gonna do what he does and just
crazy it is that next year we're gonna be saying the same exact thing, but with Todd Pettiford.
Oh, I know, man. This team, Auburn basketball is so back, folks. So is Auburn women's basketball, by the way. We're talking Auburn women's basketball right here on the College Loop. Dylan, what if I told you that Auburn women's hoops went on the road to Piscataway, New Jersey, home state of one Honesty Scott Grayson, by the way, and absolutely beat the hell out of Rutgers at home? What would you say?
I would say, how does Savannah Scott play?
And I would let you go ahead and brag about how right you are about Savannah Scott.
Savannah Scott got a 21 and 11 double-double. I mean, Auburn won by 20. She got 20. 21, actually. So if she didn't score a single point, Auburn would have lost by 1. That's how good Savannah Scott is. And it's just a breath of fresh air that Coach Jay has brought an actual rebounder to this team to play the 5. Thank you, Savannah Scott. Thank you so much for bringing your way to Auburn, Alabama. Holy cow. It's so nice to see. And Honesty Scott Grayson, I'll let you talk about her. We all love Honesty Scott Grayson, but I'll let you talk about her because I got to get my Savannah Scott right notes out of the way.
Good night to have a last name with Scott in it. Very good night to have a last name with Scott in it. Honesty Scott Grayson dropped 18 again. And we talk all about these newcomers. But this has been interesting to me to this point, Dylan. Newcomers have been a tremendous X factor. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Savannah Scott. Like you said, it's so nice to have a true 5, a true big that can box out. I mean, hell, she grabbed 11 boards on Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, rather. But Honesty Scott Grayson continues to be the floor general on this team. And Dish and assist. She's dropped 4 on Sunday. Like I said, 18 points, 3 rebounds. She's a hustler. She played 35 minutes of basketball. She doesn't get tired. Well, I'm sure she does, but like she doesn't show it that she gets tired. And her ability to facilitate and create shots for her teammates, I'm so glad she came back for another year because one, she's doing stuff like this, and two, you're starting to see her mentorship. In my opinion, this is an outside looking in, her mentorship rub off on Sydney Shaw. I mean, let's look. Shaw had 28 minutes and dropped 10 points. All right, and didn't dish an assist, but also still managed to grab 3 boards. She's learning the way of honestly Scott Grayson. I think their games are so similar. I say this all the time. This group is already has so much more chemistry than we expected them to have at this point of the season. And they're 3-0. I know a lot of people are going to look and be like, oh, the Louisiana game. Yeah, you're going to play down to your opponents sometimes. It's basketball. It's basketball. But this is what this team can do. And I'll be frank with you, Dylan. We said this about Auburn men's basketball after the loss to Baylor. I'm going to say this about Auburn women's basketball now. This team is not as good as we thought they were. I think they are a hell of a lot better. I really do. This is so much deeper, and this year is so exciting. After just 3 games, there is such tangible improvement year to year. And if you ever doubted Coach Jay was the answer, I don't know where you've been.
And of course, Auburn will be back in action on Friday to get revenge on Cal for what they did to Auburn football. They didn't lose. They didn't lose, but it looks ugly. Cal is also 3-0 with wins over Bakersfield, Santa Clara, and Cal Poly.
Yeah, we'll see how that one shakes out. But I mean,
so
right now,
pack the house.
I'm taking Auburn over anybody right now. I'm being honest with you.
Pack the Ville.
Out of anybody in the non-con slate, I lied. I would not take them over South Carolina or LSU right now. But
pack the Ville.
That's right. Pack the Ville. Pivoting over to one more women's sport here at Auburn. Auburn volleyball did travel to Como and lose 3-1 in volleyball on Sunday in an uncharacteristic skid. Back-to-back drops, and they're out of the race for the SEC regular season title. And we'll see. I'm sure they'll wind up with a bid. And they've got to win tomorrow night, as this show's coming out, Wednesday night, when they head to Starkville, Mississippi. You got to fight and keep yourself back in that top 25 just because you've done it for so much of the year, and you owe yourself that. But no doubt in my mind that Brent Crouch and company will be just fine. They were 100% receiving a bid to the NCAA tournament, and this team's poised to make some noise. So if you're slumping right here, right before you get to your last 4 games, I'm okay. Your four matches, come up with a win against whether that be Arkansas or Alabama or both, and you're in good shape. Take down Mississippi State, handle LSU, and you're right there. You can go 3-1, 2-2 in this last 4, and I think you're in great shape.
Yeah, you could head up to Auburn on Wednesday, and of course on Thursday. Oh, actually Friday. Friday for
How you doing? You okay?
So go up to Auburn on Wednesday for Auburn volleyball, then head up to New York for Auburn men's basketball. Come back down to Auburn for women's basketball, and then stay in Auburn for football. And of course, I believe equestrian is going on as well. I don't know where exactly because it's blanking on my brain.
We'll give you guys that update on the Friday show, as we always do.
Yes, we will.
That's right. All right, Dylan, that wraps up our slate for today on the College Loop Podcast, episode 130. Once again, thank you to Daniel Locke for all of his hard work. We appreciate you. We're going to miss you. Wishing you the absolute best going forward. Thank you to all of the loopers out there in the world that have liked, subscribed, and ring the bell. If you haven't already, I'm waiting for you. I'm going to give you a chance. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, like.
Never do this again.
Ring the bell. All right, great.
Never do this again.
I'll never do this again.
Never do this again.
Dylan hates this, so I'm doing every single show. It's going to be a sleigh. Anyway. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Leave your comments and your score predictions on for the New Mexico State game and beyond, and Auburn basketball against Notre Dame if you feel so inclined. Auburn women's basketball against Cal if you want to do that as well. Love to see those score predictions, and give us all your other thoughts. Other than that, if you guys want to purchase and help out on the show, you can go purchase your very own College Loop War Report co-branded Feeling Loopy t-shirt as Dylan's cringing super, super hard. They're $25. You can purchase them on thewarreport.com. Grab that out of the link of our bio. For all of our shows. And once you purchase the shirt, go on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media makes you happy, or email a selfie to thecollegeloop1@gmail.com and use hashtag FeelingLoopy. We'll make sure to feature it on the next show. Other than that, I'm Harrison Tarr, ad by Harrison Tarr on the Bird app. Thank you guys so much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love every single one of you guys. Thank you for your continued support.
Yeah. The Tarr did that thing. I'm Dylan Larck, @Tank on Twitter X, whatever you want to type in, it'll redirect you. And of course, you have my Instagram as well at Dylan Larck at DYLANLARCK. And of course, you have us right here on the College Loop, where you should like, comment, subscribe, leave your predictions for every single Auburn game of the week. If you want to predict equestrian, go for it. If you want to predict volleyball, go for it. Predict anything you possibly can think of to predict. Where do you want Auburn to play their bowl game at?
That's
And why? And why is it Birmingham? Why is it Birmingham? Because why not? Auburn home game in the postseason. Why not? Bring it on. And of course, if you're tired of seeing our faces, I completely get it. There's the audio version of the show as well. Because if looking at Tarr makes me sick to my stomach right now just because of the things he said throughout the last 2 minutes of the show. So yeah, the audio version is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and of course, you also have us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, Twitter.x as well. All at the College Loop. And of course, all that being said, this has been the 130th episode of the College Loop Podcast.
Love you guys.